What's up, guys? Matt here, back at it with some Car Mechanics Simulator, and today we're just gonna head out, see what we can find, what we can drag home, and rebuild. It's been a while since we've gone to the junkyard, so let's head out there. And here we are at the beautiful junkyard. Right off the bat, I believe I see a Lancer Evolution over here. Is it indeed an Evo? Yes, the version is an Evolution RS. That could be fun. Some all-wheel drive fun. Let's see what else we got out here. I hope you guys have been well. I cannot... Whoa! Is this... is this the 300? It is. It's a 300 SL. Don't think I'll be able to afford that one, though. Actually, the buy price is... These things go for millions. So, I'm surprised at that buy price. Yet it is in very rough shape. That could actually be a lot of fun. I love the Gullwing doors on these things. It'd be pretty amazing in real life to find one of these sitting in a junkyard. That would be pretty incredible. Pretty sad, but pretty incredible. And would you believe it? That 300 SL sitting over there. Come down here. Another 300 SL. This one, a racing version with a cage and a much more complete engine. And I'd say if we're gonna go for a 300 SL, why not go for the racing version, right? All right, let's do it. We're buying this 300 SL. It is a little more expensive than the other one, makes sense. 26,588, but it does have base, higher horsepower, stuff like that. As far as the condition goes, they're about the same. Let's buy the car, indeed, and send it to the garage. I believe our Mercedes has arrived, and indeed it has. And I didn't even pay attention to what color it is, so we're gonna find out when we wash it. And let's send it over to the car wash. Find out what color is under here. And there it goes. It's getting clean, and we have rust. I mean, that's all it is. It's just rust. All right, let's send it back to the... We need to get the welder on this thing ASAP. Let's move it to lifter A. Move the old welder over. And definitely, yes. See what we can straighten out here. And it looks like it was a white or silver, which the racing colors for Mercedes was silver, so that makes sense. Looks like the current color is like a white. It's not bad. It's just not really my thing. It's kind of like a white pearl thing or something. So it looks like there's not a whole lot to the body. It looks like all one big tub with stuff bolted to it. I believe that's how they were, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a mod that was done by Lit, L-I-T. Want to give him credit there. Well, let's start by taking everything off the body and seeing what we can repair if we can. And if we can't, then we will replace. So we got the headlights off. Pretty much that's everything there. We've got some no taillight there. We got a taillight here. Rear bumper there. Not much of one. It's a race car after all. And we'll grab this, what they're calling the fender. Which is pretty much just some trim. We got a mirror here, windshield, and that's looking like about it. Yeah, this thing is neglected. That's for sure. Interior cleaned up really nice. Take this thing up in the air and get a look at what we've got going on under here. A lot of stuff missing, but we'll get it fixed up right. That's for sure. Let's pull the engine out while we're doing that. Actually, let me separate the gearbox first, and then we'll pull the engine out. How about that? And this gearbox is stuck on here pretty good. Let's get that bolt removed. Another spray there. And it is out. Might as well take our whole clutch assembly here. Yeah, pretty rough. Pretty rough. But we found it in a junkyard, so par for the course, right? Pull off the clutch plate, and we'll get that flywheel out of the way. Obviously, don't have to worry about draining the oil because there is no oil pan. Looks like there's quite a bit missing from this engine, from top to bottom. Stuff missing. We got our engine crane. Let's pull that engine out. It is out. We can send our crane back and go to the engine stand. Yeah, that thing is seen some better days, that's for sure. But that's what we're here for. We're gonna get it up and running in tip-top shape. Let's tear down our suspension first. See what we got here. Actually, there's a little bit more here to work with than I thought. At least it's got brakes. We don't have a hub cap. We got right to that wheel bearing. Remove our brake disc. We're definitely going to have to do some performance parts for this one. Get this thing up to better than it used to be. I think the base horsepower is 350 something, I believe. We can definitely bump that up a few notches. This lower suspension arm. Lots of bolts need to be sprayed. And then we can get that front steering knuckle off of there. Onto this side. A little more complete over here, I believe. Get that out of the way. Yep, it has a hubcap. How about that? Then other than that, pretty much everything we pulled off the other side. This side actually had an upper control arm and a shock assembly, so definitely more complete. We'll get this lower control arm here. Then we can remove this knuckle, and now we can get to the inner tie rod, the steering rack, the sway bar, and remove. How many rubber bushings do we have? Do we just have the one? It looks like we just have the one for this cross member, because now it can come straight out. Perfect. That's the front torn down. Looks like not much back here. We've got our typical straight axle setup. This was probably a very fun car to race. We're going to find out once we get it all back together. We can get this working from the outside in. How about that? We'll do that. Get the leaf spring U-bolt. Seems like those are always stuck. And the other one. Yep, see, that one's stuck too. Get that out of there. Now we can remove the leaf spring plate. Get that rubber bushing out of there. Solid axle control arm out of the way. Now we can remove our shock absorber and then our spring setup here. Get the cap out of the way. Spring and spring cap there. Perfect. On to the other side. Got all that out of the way. Now we can remove our axle. Everything on the car is now off the car. Everything that was bolted to it. And now we'll tear down our engine. So what we got going here. We got a floating air filter base. How about that? Get that out of the way. And we'll go with the throttle body here. And our intake manifold. Not surprising, a lot of stuck bolts here too. I don't know if I've done one of these slant sixes like this. This is definitely new to me. Ah, there's the clip. Remove all this. All this stuff is in pretty bad shape, as you see there. 7% on the rotor. And yeah, it's been definitely neglected. Poor thing. Exhaust manifold cover here. Now we can remove the exhaust manifold, which only has 2 hole bolts holding it together. Looks like maybe somebody was in here doing stuff already. What do we move next? Okay, camshaft bearing. That makes sense. Got one there. One stuck one there. And then one in the back, it looks like. Indeed we do. That should... Oh, we got one up front. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this engine at all, so this is new to me, guys. Oh, and we probably need to take all, yeah, the cam, get all that stuff off. That makes sense. Let's get down here and start pulling stuff off the front of the motor, water pump. It's kind of fun, though, doing an engine I'm not familiar with whatsoever. Makes it very interesting. Now we can pull, oh, we got to pull the timing chain sprockets off. Makes sense. Now we can remove, yeah, timing chain comes out. We can remove the gear. And now the camshaft comes out. How about that? Now we've got this whole rocker assembly. This is actually pretty cool. Definitely interesting way to go about it. Spray that guy there. And out that comes. Can we remove the head? Indeed we can. And there we go. Our 6 pistons. They can just pull right out, huh? Because it doesn't look like they were connected to anything down there. Free floating in there. Now we can remove the crankshaft. And what else we got here? Mechanical fuel injection shaft. And there goes the engine block. Perfect. All right, guys, it is time to start repairing what I can and replacing what I can't. Starting with the gearbox. Okay, so this is gonna take a long time, guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and knock this out. Oh, and there's a fail right there. Because when I try to talk and do this, it doesn't work out sometimes. So I got everything repaired or replaced and even upgraded. Bought some performance parts for this engine. So with that being said, let's start putting this engine back together. I'm pretty excited to see this one all completely built out because I have never built this engine before, this particular Mercedes engine. So I'm kind of stoked on it. Put the crankshaft bearings on. Get this thing all cinched down before we start putting our pistons and piston rings in. Those will be performance as well, the pistons themselves. We'll start putting those in now. That is all 6 pistons secured. Now we can put on the oil pan. And it's interesting, there's only 4 little bolts. I don't think that would hold oil in real life, but hey, I'm not gonna be complaining. All right, with the engine upright, let's go ahead and start. I'll just go ahead and throw these coils out in the air like this, suspended, and much like the air filter here. Actually, let's get the alternator on, start building out the engine stuff, and then we'll go to the floating things later. It's just funny to me that they are like that, but understandable. Let's get the head on here. Performance head, upgraded too. I think I 2-star upgrade or whatever. I only had so much scrap to work with. Get the rocker arms on. This is a very cool design. Very different, very cool design that I'm used to in Car Mechanic Simulator. These rockers like this. Then we can put our camshaft on. I like how these spark plug layout is. Pretty interesting. Mercedes, very cool stuff. Very interesting German engineering, you know. Flip around here, throw on our exhaust manifold with the 2 little bolts, which makes sense because then the intake manifold comes in. You'll see in a second. First, I was very confused why there was just 2 bolts, but then the intake manifold comes in and shares some fasteners with the exhaust manifold. Again, cool German engineering right there. We can get these camshaft bearings on here. And those are on. Flip around. Let's go ahead and put our ignition distributor on. And all this is performance, some of it upgraded. Maybe only by 1 star, but still it's upgraded, right? And then flip around to the other side to get this clip. It's always those clips, I tell you. Let's build out the front of the engine here. Let's go to the water pump pulley. On it goes. Then from there we can put on our cam gear. Now we can put on our timing chain and the little sprockets for that. And there's one that's kind of hidden right there. We can put on our timing cover. On it goes. Harmonic balancer goes on. Serpentine belt B. Might as well throw on our radiator fan while we're here. Big long fasteners for that. Do our mechanical fuel injection shaft. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and do our throttle body here. Also upgraded. We can put in our air filter performance. Then our cover and then the hose that goes to it. Oh, we will need clips. Get our little clip there. Is there one for the other side? Does not look like it. Just one clip. All right. We can put on our serpentine belt A. Then go over to our fuel injection. There we go. And they actually had a performance one of these. That's very cool. Mechanical fuel injection. And get to the top of the engine. There we go. Get to the cylinder head cover. Cool Mercedes logos on either end. Very cool. Now we can do our ignition wires. And are we done here with this? Looks like it. Nope, we could do our fuel filter. And I'm gonna throw the flywheel and all that on when we go to install our drivetrain. Looks like we got everything. All right, this engine is ready to go in the car. Engine crane, send it over to the lift. Install engine, that's the one we want. And in it goes, and it looks really good in there. That is a nice engine bay. Move the equipment back. Yeah, I really like that. That's a good look. So I suppose now we start working on the cross member underneath. Front suspension cross member going in. Got to get those rubber bushings. Can't forget those. Trust me, I know what happens when I do. I've learned the hard way. All right, so now let's put on our steering rack. Front sway bar. We can do our inner tie rod. Outer tie, oh, we got to do the knuckle first before we can do our outer tie rod. There's our outer tie rod. Bolt it in. Bottom suspension arm. On it goes. We can do our shock assembly here. All fresh and new. Might as well do our sway bar in links here. Upper suspension arm. And then we can do our front axle knuckle cover. Then goes the hub. All right, wheel bearing here. Wheel hub cap, keep dust and rain out. Go with performance drilled and slotted rotors. And calipers, which I painted this time. Just for something different. And that is that side built out. Onto the other side. I dig on the red rotors. Looks pretty cool. All right, that is the whole front end suspension done. Let's move to the rear suspension. Gotta get our axle in here, or axle housing, I should say. And get our shock absorber. Work from the inside out, I suppose. Our spring cap. Obviously, we want a spring for that. And the top for that. The cap to that. Perfect. Solid control arm here. Get our rubber bushing in. Get our spring plate with our U-bolts, of course. One there. And the other there. Now we can go with the wheel hub. Solid rear drive axle. And brake disc. Onto the brake pads. And to our brake calipers. Also painted red back here. That is that side built out. Onto the other side. All right, that is that one done. Oh, I can't forget the plate. Almost did. Almost did. Flying through it. There we go. That is attached. While we're back here, let's throw in our fuel tank. Brand new fuel tank and our performance fuel pump. I'm doing a staggered set of tires because why not? Doing a 175 75 16 for the front and 225 75 16 for the rear. They're all the same size, just a little bit bigger tire for the rears. Because we are going to take this thing drag racing, and I want it to look the part. Okay, moment of truth. For the rears, we need the 225s. There they are. Put this one on. And we have unlocked an achievement, professional vulcanizer, whatever that is. And that does fill the wheel well. Maybe a little too much. Maybe I went a little too far. Let's put the front ones on and see what that looks like in comparison. Let's see, this would be the 175s. That's what we want right there. Sometimes I tend to go a little overboard on tires. I have fun with it though. Yeah, these are too big. We're just gonna go a little bit bigger. So these were the 175s. We'll do 185s for the back. Okay, I think that looks much better. I think it'll look better on the car in comparison to the old other ones that were a little too balloony, if you ask me. Let's get these on and see what it looks like. Last lug nut and see how it fills the wheel well. I think that looks good. Slightly offset a little bit. Works for me. I dig it. Moving on to underneath the car, let's start putting together our flywheel, hook up our drivetrain here. We got our performance clutch, performance pressure plate here. Bolt it down. We gotta remember to put on our starter too. I tend to forget that sometimes. And our gearbox, which we may end up having to upgrade. We shall see. I don't know how much power we're gonna be making here, but we'll figure it out. We'll have some fun with it. Put on our drive shaft. And that is connected. Now we can focus on exhaust. Let's move up here to the front. Obviously performance stuff here. Let's move on back to the rear muffler. And there we go. Everything appears to be hooked up. That does look good. I am digging on this. We're definitely gonna have to paint it, figure out a cooler color than this. Let's put in our radiator here. Get that. And need anything else here? Looks like we're ready for fluids. All right, windshield reservoir. Wiper fluid. Brake fluid. Coolant. And motor oil. I think now we are ready for body assembly. Let's get our hood installed. Right headlight, left headlight. And I love this performance racing front end. I almost wish that the logo was in there though. I don't really have an option for that. All right, left door. Put in the window. Little quarter window back here, rear window. Install the trunk. Right body window. Got the door. Window for that. Can't forget the little, there we go. I love the look at that, the look of that with that in there like that. Oh, it's so good. So good. We need our left side mirror here. Oh, probably want a windshield. That would be handy. Then we need taillights. Left and right. And we can install our bumper, which is really just block offs because it's a race car. That looks like everything body-wise. Now we just need to figure out what we're gonna paint it. While we're in the paint booth, let's go ahead and add our front seat and steering wheel. Only one seat because hashtag race car. Well, looking at it in the paint booth, apparently the car was silver. Is silver. That does look good though. It's hard to tell. Was it white or was it silver? Factory color is this here. That looks silver to me in the paint booth. And here we have our factory colors. I really love this blue. There's that silver. Oh, that maroon is actually pretty nice. There's the white. Black, of course, you can't go wrong with that. Checking out the liveries. That one's very interesting. It's either that or none. That's it. Only one livery for this car. I do love this blue. It is super classy and looks so good with the red on the inside. We're painting it, looks good, and it's a factory color, which is what I would want to do on a 300 SL if we were going to restore it to a factory color. I think that looks really, really good. Especially with that red in there like that. Oh yeah. Way out of alignment, of course, because all this stuff is brand new. That one wasn't too bad, but the rest of them are pretty far out. All right, that looks good. Man, this car, that look, I really, these things are just so gorgeous. Let's see if we can start it. I'm curious. See if we missed anything here. It does start. Not bad. Starting our dyno test here, factory power was 364 horsepower, 402 pound-feet of torque. Let's see what we have made through our upgrades. And here we go. Quite a bit of torque right off the bat. And the verdict is 607 horsepower, 662 pound-feet of torque. This has got a drag rating of A. Speaking of, I think we better go take it to the drag strip and see what we can do with our 300 SL. Well, here we are at Duneway Stripe Raceway with our 1954 Mercedes Benz 300 SL about to race in the A class. We'll see how far we can get in the A class with our Mercedes Benz here. It looks like we are going up against a Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 Super Snake. That thing. And here we go. That thing looks like it could be quite fast. I mean, it's a Shelby GT500. Let's see what we got. Oh, I guess I probably should have. Oh, there's red line. I can see it now. How are we doing? Oh, we're walking them. Not bad at all. Wonder what this thing does in a quarter mile. About to find out. I did not practice. Quarter mile. This is a 10-second car. A 1954 Mercedes Benz. A 10-second car. How about that? Good reaction time on that too. All right, let's see. Let's see who we're up against next here. We'll be going up against Ford Mustang GTG Trans Cammer. Let's do it. Yeah, he looks potent. And he's got a full cage in there and everything. Oh, we're getting him. This thing is quick. I think it's because of all that torque. I mean, this thing does not mess around. Did another 10-second run, a 10.4, and he did an 11.3. Okay, we are now going up against a McLaren F1. Don't know if we're going to be getting past this stage. There it is over there. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, he's getting us. He's getting us. Yeah, there he goes. That was closer than I thought it was going to be, though. We ran at 10.5. He ran at 10.4. So we would have probably been really close and if I would have been able to get the reaction time that I got last time. But hey, we made it pretty far, and I believe we did make money on this. Let's see. We ended up 2,250 credits. And it looks like the one that won the whole thing was a Dodge Charger RT, and I'm guessing that's the Dominic Toretto. And here we are at the racetrack, checking out our Mercedes, see how it does around corners. Not too bad, really. It does like to kick loose. That's a lot of fun, because it's got the torque to do it, so it kicks out pretty good. But it reels back in pretty easily as I go off track. And this thing is a lot of fun. Those performance brakes really do help out, but man, this thing has torque on demand. It's torquey. I love it. I think it has a lot to do with the lightweight body of this thing, and it's just a ton of fun to drive. Yeah, this thing is quick. Got up to 160 there down that back stretch. Little drift there coming out of the last turn. That is too fun. Man, what a car. What a car. Look at that thing. Absolutely love it. We'll pick Wisconsin for our license plate. And there it goes. All right, I believe this thing is now 100%. Yes, it is. Right there. Body 100%, parts 100%, frame and interior all 100%. Can't keep them all. Let's see what kind of profit we're gonna make. 277,462. Sell value of 304,000. We bought the thing for what, 16,000? Let us sell the car. Yeah, this one was definitely a definitely a smart buy. Man, I'm gonna miss that car. That thing was a ton of fun, but with that kind of money, we can definitely start getting some pretty cool stuff in here. If you have any suggestions of what kind of cars you'd like to see me rebuild on here, just put it down in the comments. I'd be happy to that's what I usually do, is just kind of weigh what people want to see and kind of roll with it. If we find something out in the junkyard or at the auctions that's pretty close, then I'll go with it. I think it's been a while since we've done like a tuner car or something more modern. So if there's something in that wheelhouse that you want to see, let me know down below and I will do my best to kind of cater towards that. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Please consider giving that video a thumbs up. It truly helps out a ton. Guys, thank you so much. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.